we should start with your outfit.
All right, I just want to make a point.
Before Steve does, before he throws me on the bus.
So there's a bunch of like apparel stuff we need to talk about and fashion stuff we need to talk about before we start the podcast.
Yeah.
Let's start with you.
Well, me and fashion in the same sentence. I feel good.
Yeah. So Steve went to Real Palestine. So big
Yesterday.
up for Real Palestine. It's happening right now and ends this coming Sunday.
Mm-hmm. So lots of time left.
So lots of great kind of films to watch at Al Sakal at Cinema Akil. So check it out.
Yeah.
Go
back down there on Wednesday, actually.
Yeah.
One of the viewings.
And Steve's rocking a T-shirt that he bought from a company called Exhale, which has kind of blended in the Real Palestine kind of bird and film and all that, and also like the what do you call it in Arabic? The stitch, the tatris, yes. So right. Steve went and spent a bunch of money with an apparel brand.
I use models, so
let me just do it. Okay, fine. You want to frame your face too? Yeah. And the joke of the day was that Steve spent so much money on this T-shirt before he even spent on DUCKLIFE collection. Well, he did spend on DUCKLIFE collection.
I did,
but only when they were repriced.
Exactly. Once the price met my. That's how demand and supply works.
Yeah, and we have a capitalist hater warrior in our office,
Jojo. Yeah. She just moved out of shot.
And Jojo, hates consumption and capitalism, but found the time and money to buy herself a luxury purse for how much? I'm not gonna say. Yeah, she's not gonna say because she's embarrassed. Yeah, it was a good deal. She saved
4,000 dirhams.
Even if she spent like $6,000 on it.
I've never spent that much money on a bag.
The capitalist warriors of yeah.
It's my only purple one.
And contrarily, I used to be that guy spending a bunch of money on stupidities. And today I'm rocking one of my 3 jeans shirts that I bought from a thrift store in Montreal. I say that with full pride. Yeah. But it's super hypocritical because I've spent fortunes on clothes and
I've seen your shoe collection.
But yeah, so it's kind of funny because everything we just described between you, me, and Jojo is a very good representation of fucking society today, exactly. Which is super confused, conflicted, and hypocritical.
Yep.
Which is like, on one end, social warriors, do what's good for the planet. But hey, let me go drop $6,000 on a Burberry purse. What was it? Burberry purse.
Was it 6 or 9?
Right?
6 or 9?
$9,000.
I bought it for 5,600 dirhams.
Ah, so it was originally 9.
July, it's for 9,000 something.
Okay.
And that's.
So she took a plane to burn a bunch of fucking carbon, destroy the planet, and then went to Paris and bought it in Paris instead of spending it in the local economy because she's a social warrior. I'm just fucking with you. I'm just joking. Anyway, and then, but that's our society in a nutshell.
What's your handle, Jojo? Just so people can at you.
But anyway, I think that's like, we're super fucking hypocritical.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, I'll go buy a shirt in a thrift store and be like, yeah, I'm helping the fucking planet. Meanwhile, I'm fucking giving out baseball caps and face masks for free just so people consume and know about us.
Exactly.
It's fucked up.
Advertising. Oh, well, yeah, we know this. It is.
Yeah.
But we said this in the last one. We were talking about that hypocritical type generation.
Yeah, and I saw actually a post on Instagram the other day and actually talked exactly about this. Most people think that being sustainable in fashion means buying from sustainable brands. So if H&M does a sustainable collection, like, oh, this is good. It's going to be good for the planet. I'll buy it.
Yeah.
Or if, there's a company that like, I don't know, that uses sustainable cotton or some sort of sustainable production method. They're like, oh, this is good. I'm going to buy these guys over the other guys. But actually, the most sustainable thing you can do is not throw shit out, is upcycle shit and go buy from thrift stores or vintage stores or things. So just instead of getting people to produce more shit.
Yeah.
And it was a stark reminder of how stupid we are as a society.
But think about it as well.
Sustainability is more consumption, right?
Exactly. But think about how sustainability is marketed today as marketeers. What is there one thing in our supply chain that's sustainable, and now we can market it that way, and based on regulation of the country as to what we're in? That's probably how it works. I don't know enough about it, so forgive me if I'm like shitting on the industry, but it's true.
No, 100%. Anyways, that wasn't the point of the podcast.
Yeah.
Just a funny start.
In terms of fashion.
Yeah.
So what What are we talking about today? We're not talking about crypto democracy or
No, we're gonna keep it strictly business.
Yeah.
No, today we want to talk about NoBueno.
Oh yeah. The build in public.
Yes.
Building in public.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we launched NoBueno, the beta program, like 2 weeks ago now. So first off, thanks a lot to everybody because the fucking feedback has been amazing. The interest has been great. If you haven't reached out and you want to be a part of our beta program, please do reach out. We still have loads of room. And the idea of the beta program, it's a 3-month program for all companies to work with us, try the product, create some opportunities, and hopefully get matched to qualified kind of seekers or job seekers, etc. And so far we're onboarding a bunch of companies in the next 2-3 weeks. The onboarding starts as of tomorrow, February 1st.
Your calendar is pretty full.
My calendar is fucked. I'm basically onboarding people. And one thing you and me kind of discussed and we kind of agreed, and I think everyone here at DUCKLIFE kind of agreed, is why don't we kind of document the process of building NoBueno? So what does that mean? And you it's called building.
Yeah, it's like a building. So if you haven't seen it, there's like it's one of these trends, right? Social trends like build in public. And what does that mean? I mean, build in public. The clue's in the name and the hashtag, but like actually putting out publicly updates and sharing kind of success, failures, everything kind of that goes on behind the scenes. Because like today, everything is unfiltered, right? You're saying it's pretty much the unfiltered hashtag, right? But we're basically saying everything today is very rose tinted. If you talk about successes, social media, and like your feeds are full of it. You're like, oh my God, I'm not doing enough because everyone around me is so successful. But like you and I both know that's just not the way that, and anyone who works in any industry knows that that's just not how things go. Like we publish the good things, but not necessarily the chaos that gets you to that.
And there are two motivations, like straight up. There is one selfish motivation, right? Yep. And I think I just want to kind of tackle that one head on so that we're very clear about it.
What is it?
It's well, as a brand today, you only exist if you're creating content.
Yep.
Right. So creating content, being out there, participating in some shape or form by delivering content on a regular basis is something every brand has to do. Right. And so as a startup, our ability to create branded content and social content, engagement content, growth content, all that stuff, like fuck that. It's a bit too much to manage in the short term. And so the selfish motivation as well behind that is, hey, if we can document how we build NoBueno and we do it on a semi-regular basis, let's say a couple times a week, and it's you, me, whoever, probably River, Jojo, whoever, Lauren, whoever's involved, if we're creating content about what it is to build this company, the ups and the downs, then selfishly, it also serves the purpose of creating content and then creating an audience. So I think that's just, I want to put it out there. Like I'm also motivated to do it because I don't have the patience, the resources, or the time to just create 7 channels of content just to be like every other brand. I think, why don't we create our own content that is about us, like a real look at how we're going to build this company. So that's a selfish motivation. The other motivation is, we've been in startups most of our careers, and like there isn't that many examples of or brands out there who've really shown us, how they did what they did, how they built, how they succeeded or failed.
Yeah.
You always have the documentaries or the biographies after the fact. Oh, this documentary of this billionaire who, he's only going to tell us the things that he wants to tell us, the super sanitized version of their journey.
Or TV series, and like a Showtime, like Uber thing coming out.
Yeah, Uber's Travis's story behind Uber. I really, really want to watch that.
Yeah.
I hope there's like a Kareem cameo. It'd be amazing. And this is how we bought that Middle Eastern company. That'd be cool. But yeah, it'd be cool to have a brand, and hopefully we could be one of those brands in the region that kind of has an open kind of...
It's like an open door policy,
open door policy to how we're building the company.
Yeah. And the thing is, with it, I mean, you say it's kind of like selfishly led to an extent, but actually it's really hard today, like in, I guess, online, try to find like truth. Right, so when we think about kind of truth, it depends what you're seeking, and you're trying to understand more about what's actually happening. You have great threads like thought pieces and everything, but they're always kind of taking one very positive angle.
Or they're very sanitized. They only tell you
Exactly.
what they want to tell you.
Yeah. Whereas in reality, that's just not the way it works. So, portraying that out online, it's kind of a cool way or a different way of doing something. I mean, we'll see, right? Like, fail fast if.
Yeah, I mean, if we fail really quickly, then there's not gonna be much content. But at least there'll be content of how quickly we failed, right?
Yeah.
But I think the idea is, starting a company is extremely difficult.
Yeah.
There's so many things that you kind of encounter. There's tons of bumps along the way, and there's tons of huge successes that we want to celebrate. Because even startups don't celebrate enough either.
Yeah.
So it's not just about showing you how difficult life is and how hard it is to start a company. It's also about celebrating publicly too,
Yeah.
right? And I think we need to do that. And so far with NoBueno, it's been an interesting journey.
Yeah.
It's still a year in the making.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I was going to say. It's not just about celebrating aspects. We've already gone through a year of learning. But this is also, so they're celebrating their successes, but also the kind of the pitfalls, the steps that you have to take should be quite useful for some people. And you think about it, like, I mean, you did a lot of the setup company stuff here. I mean, it's not.
I mean,
easy.
listen, if you can set up a company in the Middle East,
Yeah.
you can be an entrepreneur. You can build anything. If you can just get past getting a company license and opening a bank account, wow, you can do anything.
Yeah. So that explains how challenging that piece was.
The perseverance needed to do that is insane.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But
that's a problem. So that's a problem statement itself, right? That's starting to be solved today. Like, I know a few people that are actually working on actually streamlining that whole process, which is.
But now we have great fintech, peer to peer.
Exactly.
For nobody who wants
I'm like
it.
directing you away from sarcasm, and you're like, bring it back. I've not finished.
I'm not finished with those guys. Anyways, but yeah, so that's the idea. The idea is, can we be honest enough? Can we be disciplined enough, all of us, to document truthfully what's going on?
Can Steve and Chris, who host Duck It, be honest?
No, but do we have the discipline and do we have the courage to really tell people what we're going through? Because
And also, sorry, Ash, finish your point, and then I want to say.
Because even up to this point, up to getting the beta program out, it's been a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we've had so many obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, I mean, I can go through them, but the obstacles that we went through just to get this product out there in beta mode is incredible.
Yeah.
From designing the product to trademark issues to tech and the challenges of tech to like.
If you come up with a name, that's a good takeaway. If you come up with a name, check the trademark immediately before you start.
So little lesson there.
Wait before you actually break it into creatives, because creatives have to do it all.
I can't hear what she's saying.
No, I can't hear what she's
saying. Can you hear what she's saying? I can't hear it.
Just make sure you check.
No, I still can't hear what she's saying. Can you hear what she's saying? I can't hear what she's saying.
She said she was grateful that we waited before briefing it into
that's
design.
what I thought she said. Yeah. No, so the lesson here, and jokes aside to Jojo, the lesson here is, like, we had a crazy lesson. So before NoBueno was NoBueno, it was called Jungle.
Mm-hmm.
Still a sick name, like
Yeah.
amazing. And we had built the full user experience, the full UX UI. We were like at version, like, I don't know, 20 something of the product at that point. Like, we had done so much work.
Yeah.
We had even had all the social handles.
Mm-hmm.
We had everything. And then when we did our trademark search with the trademark kind of partners that we have, they said, oh, okay, you're good in Saudi, you're good in the UAE, you're good in the US. Oh, but the EU.
Damn EU.
It's not going to pass. It's not going to pass in Europe because there's a company that has a name in the same space that has jungle in it.
Yeah.
And that might pose an issue. So the lesson here was, before you build your brand,
And
don't just
scale.
Google search it, or don't just domain search it. Don't even like do a proper trademark search.
But that costs money as well, right?
And by the way, maybe we should put a link in the video to who we do it with. Maybe send them some business. But
it does cost money, right?
It costs so much money to do it, to do the search and to apply for the trademarks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a long process. But yeah, trademarks is such a huge part of your business, especially if you're thinking about having a global brand.
Yeah.
So that was a huge learning. And tech, what a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
Like I get it, man.
I feel like with tech, like I feel like we need to learn tech. We
Yeah,
need to,
like
we need to
if I
learn-
could go back to school, I'd probably go into computer science or something. But like, holy shit! Like when you don't understand how things work and who does what a roller coaster. And just finding the right partner took us forever.
Mhm.
And then finding the partner and the investments necessary to build a product, an MVP.
Mhm.
And that's the other thing. Like on one side, everyone's telling you, just get the product to market, just get the product to market. Don't over fucking craft it. Don't over design it. How?
Yeah, exactly. But hold on, you just said yourself this morning, you don't invest in ideas as an investor,
I don't.
right? So like there's a reason why when you've got an idea and it takes time to get a product to market, there's a reason why you should invest that time and energy up front. You're validating your own hypothesis anyway. And then with a bit of a test crowd, you're starting to see if it's actually working within the market itself. To then know, I mean, that's a more honest way of going around building product business wise.
But it's crazy, right? The amount of companies and businesses and startups right now that are, raising money on an idea level.
Yeah, I mean,
It blows my mind. Like maybe I'm just not that kind of investor, I guess. But like I would never invest in a company. Well, sorry, it's not even a company in my mind. Like in an idea and a bunch of people who've written a bunch of
it depends.
theses
Right? Yeah.
and presentations and pitch decks and market sizing documents. Like,
But I mean, that's a crypto space. We said we weren't going to work crypto, but that is.
I know, but that's mental. You
No,
know what I mean?
agree. I do agree. Yeah.
I think for me, maybe I'm just like maybe I don't have the right kind of courage, but like
Add a few extra zeros to your net worth.
yeah,
and then
maybe
you might,
maybe
you
if I
might
was a
just start throwing
billionaire,
out ideas,
maybe if
yeah.
I was a multi-gazillionaire, I would, but
Yeah.
I'm not, right? So
But bottom line is, it's better that you invest that time and energy in developing the product, thinking about the product, actually solving some of the problems that you in your head have articulated that you want to solve for,
yeah,
and starting to work through that, because it's far, like, even though it's taken us over a year, like that from where we started to that whiteboard to where we finished in terms of that product, and there's tons more work that needs to be done, and now it's in the hands of actual people. Like there's a load of feedback,
yeah.
and now we've got to prioritize how we actually like develop that. And that's great, right? Because we'll start prioritizing based on the community and the demand aspect.
Yeah.
But to get to that point, you don't want to just show people a shell or a white paper and think that that's of value to them, because it's not. It's just not of value.
Yeah. So I think like this week we're gonna start documenting. We're gonna start like video blogging.
What format are we going to use, by the way?
I think we should just do it on social.
Okay.
Like how else? Like
Oh, yeah.
maybe we could like create a library on our website of NoBueno and post just the links of the posts that are about kind of that, about our learnings, about our blogs. But I think it should all live on our social pages. But then maybe we create a library on our website of just the ones that are relevant based on our blog kind of documenting.
And it should be, and it's going to be like tangible takeaways, right? So like something that it could be a problem that we had and what we faced and how we went about trying to solve it, and if we solved it or if we didn't, or like, so that is actual like relatable situations to other people.
But also like I'm not going to say who. There's a founder of a company that I spoke to over the holidays, and we're talking about kind of the bullshit around like the glory of entrepreneurship, right? It's like it's so glorified, like, and entrepreneurship is like, or entrepreneurs are like the superheroes of our time. Like I can imagine going to my dad and be like, Dad, like, look at this guy. He started a company. Wow, bravo. He's just a businessman. Okay, and then what, right? But and the reason society's really glorified them and stuff like that is because they're problem solvers, and it is super impressive in many areas, and the innovation that comes with it is super impressive. But fundamentally, even superheroes have their down days and emotions and stuff. And I was talking with this entrepreneur, and he was saying with this guy, and he was saying, man, why don't why doesn't the startup community of these builders, why don't they really say how it is? Because behind closed doors, all these conversations are, fuck, I'm screwed. Man, I'm so tired. Dude, I'm burnt out. Man, I hate this investor. Or man, this bank is a fucking disaster. Or, and nobody really talks about that. All we talk about is, yo, you fundraise this much. You got this many users. You're a fucking G.
Stick to the fundraising conversation.
Yeah, the fundraising conversation, that's another.
Media. It's find a better story.
Yeah. It's your trophy, right? It's a trophy.
But why? You raise a load of money. Money's cheap in today's world. Why is that a story?
No, but it's basically a testament to how many people you can convince.
This is true. But wouldn't it be cool that like especially those like platforms, you start talking about the actual like developments, the builds, the stories coming out of it, like the tangible takeaways, like the lives it's changing. But I think it's changing. If it's
but I
succeeding.
think it's because society is so shallow, right? Like
Yeah, maybe.
like if you take it to the construction industry, right, or the development industry, when you hear a project is like a $1 billion project, you're like, what? That's newsworthy. But you don't hear about, oh man, did you know what kind of cement they used in the foundation? No one gives a shit.
Yeah.
Yo, you know how many elevators they're gonna have? You know how many flights of stairs? Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Right?
Unless it's like the most in the world and it's a Guinness World Record. Yeah, fair.
Right? So I think it's because money talks, right? And I think that's
we're still currently celebrating, like, and it's everywhere, right? I see it if I go on TechCrunch. You open up TechCrunch, you just scroll through like the top feed, and you just so many times we talk about raising. There's more to talk about.
Yeah, but I also think it's headline, right? I think the problem that we have in the Middle East is that I agree that it's a headliner. I agree that it's interesting. Like I'm still interested in knowing who raised money. Like I think it's interesting just to understand, like, one, where's the market going? What is interesting people? Where's the money kind of making its bets, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think it's interesting to know. But the problem is when you read the rest of the articles, there's nothing else.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
It's the thing when we raise money.
When we raise money, we'll tell no one.
Yeah.
We'll keep it to ourselves.
No, we have to have substance. Can you imagine? We have to have substance in the article now.
Yeah, but we don't control what they write, right? If we raise money, like...
Yeah, but
we just don't tell anyone.
No, but we're building in public, so we'll publish it. Either they write it or we publish it here on DUCKLIFE. Exclusive.
Yeah. Hopefully people will give us money.
This is true. Yeah.
But yeah, so we're gonna start documenting this week, but I think let's talk about the journey a little bit to this point. I think it'd be super interesting. So,
in fact, to keep it pick two of the key things of the journey, 2 or 3 of the key things that you want to highlight.
I just want to talk about time management.
Time management is a great one for you to discuss.
Yeah.
River, take time on how long this might take.
No, I just want to say, because it is probably been the biggest struggle that we've had in this journey, right? Like,
I have another. I'm going to follow this one up. Actually, you say time management. I'm going to tell you what the other thing is. Sure. And you're going to answer it for me. But
I'm going to answer it for you.
Or you'll know what I'm going to talk about. Okay. You talk about time management.
Focus.
Very good. See,
okay, focus on what I'm saying though. Okay. So the first one's been time management, because obviously NoBueno is a part of DUCKLIFE, and DUCKLIFE is many things, and DUCKLIFE is our baby, right? So it's our living. It's what's brought us all together. It's what's allowed NoBueno to exist. And so we've been juggling up until this point, many priorities, right? And it's hard to justify what order you put them in based on what the business needs, right? So, and everyone knows this, but I just want to reiterate, like, if you don't dedicate and you don't have focus and you don't like really take the leap and don't have a plan B, like if you only have a plan A and you only do one thing, then you'll be successful at it. But the problem with the way we're doing it, and I think it's a big learning and it's the reality of our circumstances, was that we have DUCKLIFE, an advisory, agency. We have clients.
Yep.
And like it or not, DUCKLIFE as a business has financed everything. It's financed our living. It's financed our resources. It's financed NoBueno. It's financed this podcast.
Collection.
It's financed DUCKLIFE collection. It finances everything. So you can't starve that piece of the business and do a full jump to a new business. And that has cost NoBueno probably 6 months, if not more. I think we could have gotten NoBueno out the door within 3 months if we had 100% focus.
Definitely.
But it took us a year. We had to sacrifice 9 extra months just to be able to get to the beta phase. And now, if we want to make it successful, I can't be in DUCKLIFE as much as I need to be for the business. You can't be in DUCKLIFE. All of us now need to fucking go back and forth between these two businesses. But even more so, in order for NoBueno to be successful, I got to sacrifice, and you have to sacrifice. And we need to make sure that that doesn't impact our core business too much or upset our clients too much. right? So the constant juggling, right? And like, how many startups do you hear about? Oh, this guy, he's starting this company, but he's at Google now, or this guy, he's at Nana now, or this guy, he's here and he's doing, and everyone will tell you, like, we're all on the same page. Like, yeah, we would love to jump ship and do this 100% and only do it, but it's a very difficult thing to do.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing to do based on the model that we've chose.
Yes.
So we made a conscious decision. So there's background in that. We made a conscious decision that we would fund 100% ourselves and transition across and try to build and manage both at the same time, which came with some sacrifice. And we knew that at the time.
Yeah.
To an extent, you don't have to make that decision. You can jump, but then you sacrifice more of, say you want to raise money, and you raise money early on, say either pre-product or before it's even like a product itself, then you're going to sacrifice way more of your company because of the risk that's involved there. So we negated that risk and took on the risk of being slower, which is what we have, to make sure that we could deliver both. And even today, we still don't have that like dedicated focus, but we're rebalancing the way that we operate today in terms of, so the way that you and I manage our time today, from afternoons, it's NoBueno.
Yeah.
And we've been pretty diligent with that throughout the...
So at the moment, and I think up until like March, we said we're doing basically 9 a.m. to noon is DUCKLIFE and 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. is NoBueno.
I love those like rounded like office hours.
Yeah, just
for any entrepreneur startup here, that's just using
bullshit,
corporate speak.
Yeah, but it's and we know that it's still not ideal, and it's still not enough, right? Like NoBueno is a 14, 16-hour day in itself, right? If we were to really be able to juggle it properly. But what are we doing in the meantime? We're right-sizing our organization. We're restructuring our organization. We're changing the processes a little bit. We're even changing the services a little bit.
Yeah. We're upskilling.
We're trying to really allow our organization to mature without us, which is really difficult to do, right? Because on one end, people still come to DUCKLIFE because of us, right? They want to work with us, and it's going to be quite a journey to get people to build that confidence with our team that we have. Like I'm fully confident in the capability of our team, sometimes more than myself. And we just need to make sure that the market is aware of that too.
Yeah. And that kind of like guidance with where we sit, we step back from being so hands-on, like executionally. I guess people who know us will know that we're very executional in terms of the way that we do stuff.
Yeah.
Get our hands dirty, don't necessarily push things down. Whereas now it's really trying to build that kind of model and framework where you sit at that more advice level. Because at the end of the day, clients come to us. You're right. They come to us to use the services and the ideas and the talent, but they come wanting, it's the brain that they're after, right? And like a lot of the time they want that guidance, that advice, and that executional aspect is what we're trying to take less strain on to allow us to execute more where we prioritize.
But to make DUCKLIFE the brain.
Exactly.
Right. And I think that's going to be our biggest challenge.
Jojo is like fully on it. Jojo could run like however many like creative pitches, but she bribes us and sacrifices holidays for not having to actually run the pitches. Remember that? She actually traded off with Cuba. She was like, I've been off a week of Cuba so that I don't have to lead a pitch.
I thought he's going to be like, no.
But you're not going to do that this time next year, no? You're not going to do that this time next year.
I can.
No.
I'm pretty sure she's going to take a month off every year.
Yeah.
But that's fine, because according to UAE law now, she's entitled to it.
Choose the 30 days, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Not all in one chunk.
Not all in one chunk, I was going to say, yeah. But yeah, 100%. And I think just to close that point off, like you read those quotes on Twitter every day, like there's no, like, you won't succeed with plan A if you have a plan B, and you have to take that leap of faith and just go all in. But like, I don't live in my mom's house. I'm not building my company in my garage. The cost of living of this country is very high. The reality is most people that are in this part of the world that are ready to start their own companies are accustomed to a certain lifestyle, right? So like, I'm not gonna deprive myself of that much. I'm ready to give up certain things. Like, fine, I'm not gonna spend 400,000 dirhams on a house in Dubai Hills, right? Like that's not gonna happen. But like I'm still not gonna give up like my comforts, right? So it's the reality is if you're gonna start a company, when you read those quotes of it's all or nothing, like it's total bullshit. And you just have to find a way to navigate. If you're in the Middle East, you have to find a way to navigate between those two worlds. Like you have to.
Yeah.
Like it is, and that's especially to your point, especially in the case where you don't want to fundraise at an idea stage and you don't want to give away too much of your company. And for us, it wasn't so much about giving too much away from the company. It was more about like fundamentals. Also, it was like, how are we going to raise money for something that we don't know, like if it works or how it works, right? Like,
but it went again our principles, right? If we're saying like how we believe and how we should operate, we're not going to just pitch an idea and then take capital in that sense. We were gonna no, let's prove to ourselves that this can be built and this makes sense, and develop it out and think it through.
Just out of respect for the process, right?
Yeah, in the same way that when we pitch stuff to clients, we don't just go through an idea and then just share it straight to them, right? We think through the process. We understand what we're trying to construct, how we're trying to say it. Does it make sense based on all of the research? Just why our process is we don't jump straight to strategy or straight to execution of marketing. The reason we spend time doing audits and learning is so that we actually validate any hypothesis or any challenge problem statement that clients have said to us.
Exactly. Because ideas are a dime a dozen.
Exactly.
Our ability to execute is what people should invest in, ourselves included, right? Precisely. And so just I think the learning there is, you read all these things online and you hear from these founders that have all these rosy stories, but they don't really tell you the truth, right? Because you can't just jump ship and risk it all. Like I have a kid, I have a wife, I have responsibilities, I have a family, I have a lifestyle. I'm not going to give it all up. Right. And so finding the right way to navigate is super, super important.
Yeah.
I think that was the number one thing. The second thing you want to talk about was focus.
Yeah. How we do on time management there? That's good. 10 minutes.
We got like 4 minutes left.
No, I mean, look, focus is a superpower. And it's so underrated with what you can achieve with it. And
what is focus?
Focus is just like bringing like your attention to things that matter, whether they're and how you prioritize them. So let's take at the start of this year, understanding how we get from start of Q1 to end of Q1 to a point where our time management and our ability to execute NoBueno on a more permanent basis can happen based on all of the things that you just ran through. So the focus there was really to say, okay, here are like the 5 key things that need to happen within DUCKLIFE Advisory, like to get us to that point, to achieve that. Rather than just saying, okay, we're going to get from here to here and we're going to just do 110 things. No, we're actually going to distill down what these 5 things are and we're going to build it that way. So for me, and like when you think about it from a strategy point of view, you're thinking about kind of what the process requires and what Steve needs to download, how he needs to operate with clients, how we can fine tune that entire aspect of the business to then make sure that the team are upskilled enough and able to develop. So the focus that is required to get you from here to here is just understanding that you can do 10 different other things here, but they're going to have low impact on the things that are going to actually achieve the goal of the end of a quarter or end of a year thing. So it's just working backwards from there. Like that's what focus is.
Yeah,
focus
and I just want to...
And also, last thing, focus is about saying no. Saying no to tons of shit that doesn't get you or achieve the goal that you have sitting
I feel like
here.
you got an underlying message there.
No. You've been saying no a bit more.
Yeah, a bit more. But I just want to kind of rephrase that. I think...
Did I not phrase it well enough?
No, it's not that. Because like I'm the opposite of focus, right?
Yeah, I bring focus to a lot of your work.
Yeah, so I like to make it make sense for me. Like I can't only do like 2 things.
Yeah.
Like my brain doesn't have the motivation to execute on anything unless there's an overwhelming amount of things to do.
So you thrive.
I thrive in
immense pressure.
And like there has to be a multitude of things to do.
But why is that? Not that it's going to become a therapy session, but
no. But I just like I thrive in urgency.
Yeah, but why do you put that burden on your own body and your mind?
I don't see it as a burden. See, that's the thing. Most people see it as it's a bad thing, as it's so overwhelming and it gives you anxiety and it's no, but
Do you believe it gets the best out of you?
it gets the best out of me, and I genuinely enjoy it. Like I enjoy being pushed into a corner and having to do something, figure it out.
Yeah, you are a fight.
I just enjoy it, and like people like there's this whole misconception that like, oh man, like chaos is bad and you have too many things going on. Yeah, listen, fundamentally, yes, I always have too many things going. I could probably get rid of 50% of the things that I'm doing, 100%, and I will never. But I genuinely enjoy. I feel like I'm the best version of me when I'm overwhelmed.
See, now, and this is why you have to determine like yourself as an individual as to what gets the best out of you, because you solely believe that you thrive in those type of environments, and I know myself as an individual thrives when there is clarity, focus, and time to be able to just sit and go through stuff. So I can still juggle, but I don't allow the juggling to overconsume me, because it will overconsume and then it will degrade the quality of the output. Do you ever like, because I see you when you actually invest a ton of time into something, I see the output, and I would argue that the output is higher quality when you afford yourself that time of focus.
But that's why I think it needs like explaining. So it's not that I don't have the capability to invest a lot of time into something. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I'll only get to the point where I'll invest a lot of time into something if I realize that I have no choice. Because if I have choice, then I'll just put more stuff on my plate. I am the true definition
That's
of like procrastination, right? But procrastination is where I love to live.
Such a strange.
But procrastination.
Actually, no, I do understand it. Like that, why that would drive you. Because
I love
it's like that sense of urgency is that adrenaline ruch.
I love it.
It's like a dopamine hit.
100%. And I know it's not necessarily constructive or conducive to like the best output all the time. I know that. But when I don't have that many things on my plate and I don't have that much pressure, my mind doesn't think creatively. It's aloof. It's just daydreaming. I can't control my mind. I have the worst case of ADHD since my whole life. And for me, the only times I can kind of seize the moment and seize the attention necessary to get things done is when I don't have a choice. And then I get that razor sharp focus. And only then do I produce my good work. And I can do it. I can focus for 5 hours if it's due on the 6th hour.
What's that film with Bradley Cooper? You need that pill. Limitless. That's the one. I just pictured Limitless when you're saying that.
No, but that's 100% like what resonates with me. Like if somebody tells me, man, we got a pitch coming up in like 2 months. I'm like, okay, talk to me in 2 months. Like, I could not give a fuck. Yeah. Right. And it's just, that's just how my body.
So
like,
true, actually. I literally, that conversation.
I genuinely don't give a fuck. And and people are like, oh man, like, how are you going to give it the right time? How are you going to have the right ideas? I don't know. Just wait till we get there. We'll figure it out. Like, but that's fundamentally how I operate. And I'm not saying that's healthy. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's an asset or a superpower. It's just how I operate.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just like, for me, like if we define focus, like I get focus at like judgment day, at when it's required, and I get razor sharp focus, and I can do my best work in that circumstance. If I could recreate that every day, all day, then I'd be a superpower.
I'd be really worried for your health.
For my health. But also for me, it's also like I also think it's part of my process for creativity.
Yeah.
And so I'll just explain that. So I know I have ADHD, right? I have attention issues. I've had them my whole life. That's fine. And I don't see that as a weakness. And I know that I have to push into my brain a million things in order for it to feel overwhelming, to then have the sense of urgency, to procrastinate, and then execute. I know that's a weakness. I know. But I also know that in the process of doing 1,000,001 things and being exposed to 1,000,001 things, I'm also receiving lots of information.
Yeah.
I'm learning tons at the same time. I'm exposed to so much knowledge. I'm thinking about investing in like 1 or 2 different companies. Right now I'm building NoBueno. Right now we have like 5 fucking new clients.
Yep.
Right now Nadia has her film festival, and then I have fatherhood, and then I have, all these things. And fuck, and I just moved house and I have to think about there's a fucking plumbing issue in our house now. I need to figure it out. And all these things, all like being exposed to all these challenges and all these problems is super educational. It forms my experience creatively. Solving all these things and being exposed to all these things is a wealth of knowledge for me. I actually love it. I actually think I learned so much as a person.
Yeah.
And I find that the output of that is when crunch time comes and it's the 11th hour and I need to operate and get that razor focus that you want me to have where you see I have good output. If all those other things didn't happen at the 11th hour, I don't think I'd have the same output.
Yeah, so I don't necessarily want you to have it because I think you and again, we complement each other in this way because I operate exactly the same. The same, but very different in the sense of I have all of that information coming in, but I don't need to be backed into a corner to have my output.
Yeah, you take all that and then you organize it and then you just tackle it one by one in an order that makes sense.
Meetings, right?
Yeah, I see it.
Do Zoom meetings, put boxes on keynotes.
And I zoom out and I'm not on the call and I'm like,
I'm gone. I'm out. Steve's starting to play with Lego again. Like, let's ignore this. But it's true. No, I mean, for me, and I think focus needs to be broken down, determined as to what focus means for individuals.
Yeah.
So I think that would be the takeaway. Like for me, focus is about being able to say, okay, I want to get from A to B, and to get to B, I'm going to work backwards and I'm going to say no to a ton of stuff that disrupts my ability to get to B in a timely and efficient manner. You, on the other hand, will say, in order to be focused, I need that chaos to get to B. And it's fine because as I get closer to that period of time, my best work will come out of it. And I will not bring forward things that have longer deadlines. I will only work with stuff that's just in front of me because that's the best output that you'll get from me each time. But we'll still get to B the same time in the same place, just through different methods.
Yeah. And I think that's because different personalities, different characters, different kind of experiences, etc. And with NoBueno, just because I want to bring it back to NoBueno, like we only got to a place where we started really executing on it when we were pushed up against the wall too as a business. And we said, okay, guys, like this is real. The product's done. Like it's sitting on the shelf. We need to get it out. You know what I mean? And I think that's stupid. That's like the dumbest thing that could have happened. Like we had a great momentum. We built an amazing product, an amazing MVP ready for beta. But we were juggling between all these new projects and all these new customers and DUCKLIFE collection and all these things. And I think all entrepreneurs and all guys who start their own companies, their own gigs, go through the same kind of motions that like they have such conviction in their idea. They're totally sold. Yeah. And they're at a stage where they're ready to take the leap. And inherently, in their heart, at the end of the day, it's still a fear. Right? And that's the last thing I think I want to talk about before we end this podcast is let's talk about the fear. Right? Because no matter how experienced you are, no matter how many times you've done this before, no matter how confident you are as a person, when you start your own company and you take that leap and you tell the world about this new company, you might as well fucking strip naked and run down the street in Marina, right? Like you're exposing yourself totally, right? You're telling the whole world, hey guys, I'm starting a new company and I think this sucks and here's how we're going to fix it. And you just pray to God that everybody thinks that what you're doing makes sense. Yeah. It's such a huge gamble. Yeah.
Well,
right?
Yeah.
You're exposing yourself entirely.
You expose yourself and you think you want people to look at it and then just open up dialogue with you, right? Like you fear, like the mind, the longer you allow it to fester in your mind, the more you procrastinate in your mind on it, then the more your mind creates doubt on yourself.
Yeah.
Whereas in fact, in reality, and this is why think of some of the old things we've spoken about, like move quick and move fast and iterate, right? Like genuinely, you want to move fast because, I mean, in the world today, you need to move quickly. But you also want to move quickly because your brain doubts you and second guesses everything that you do. And then you want to be able to iterate it because you're going to get so much feedback. Like think of all the feedback that we've had, the conversations that people have had with us already. Some people are just taking their own time out, their own days, just to give that constructive feedback. Yeah, I don't have to do that. They're invested in people, in ideas.
Yeah.
And that's why like the fear, you should almost be fearless, but it's so hard because
It's really hard.
fear itself.
But it's just like when you start dating, man. You're presenting
so
yourself.
long ago, man. I can't remember that
it's
shit.
been like fucking 15 years. But like it, just the idea of showing somebody what you've been working on for so long, showing them your, what you've executed on, what you believe, and then seeing how they respond to it. Like it's fucking daunting, right? Like it's like even me now, like I'm, people think I'm like super confident. Yeah, I guess I am. But like when I present NoBueno to people, to my contacts, my network, my peers, fuck.
Yeah.
I'm so nervous every time I talk to anybody about it.
Yeah.
And like, oh, I'm going to download the app now. I'm like, oh, you're going to download it right now? Okay. And then I just wait on standby, see if they have anything to say. So fucking nervous. Right. And it's, on one side, I'm so excited because I feel like I haven't had that feeling in a long time. I feel like we've just been on like client work and stuff, and that's cool. But like, I haven't had that fear rush through my blood in a while. But on the other side, it's scary. And I hope that in the video blogs and the documenting of NoBueno, we can also show that side to it, show that human side to it, not just tangible lessons of how to start a company, but also like the emotional journey of it that might be a bit kind of welcomed in the sense of giving a real view of what's happening. I think that would be cool. And yeah, hopefully this week we'll do a couple pieces. We'll document. And hopefully you guys enjoy it, and hopefully people watch it and they give us feedback too.
Yeah,
hopefully
and they'll be short.
Useful.
They're going to be short.
Really short.
Yeah, short.
If I can talk for less than 10 minutes, I'll try.
It's right, guys. You can watch it on 1.5x, 2x speed.
Yeah, we should just send them on WhatsApp groups.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. All right. Cool. All right. That's an episode.
Bye.
Ciao. Bye.